Starting at SMSJ, I felt kind of scared and nervous because everything was really different compared to my primary school. My primary school was really small and it was like a really small community, so everyone knew everyone, and I quite liked it there. But moving to a bigger school was a little bit nerve-wracking for me, and I was a little bit worried. I was also a little bit excited because it was, I do like bigger schools.
So when I started SMSJ, I was definitely going through a lot of mixed emotions. I would imagine all new secondary students to feel like. I was nervous as I didn't really have many friends, I wasn't really aware of the environment and didn't really know what to expect. But at the same time, I was so excited as I felt so mature and grown up.
When I first started SMSJ, I felt nervous because I didn't know anyone.
I was really nervous because it's a new environment, it's very big, and there's new people that I haven't really met before.
At first, when I found out I was going to SMSJ, I was a bit upset because I wanted to go to Hogwarts. But then I realised if I went to SMSJ, since it was a high school, I'd get a nicer uniform, nice schedule, a planner, meet new people, and I was like, might not be Hogwarts, but it's the next best thing.
I was excited about learning new things in different lessons and new school clubs which I wasn't able to do previously in my primary school, and making new friends.
When starting at SMSJ, I was really excited about a lot of things. One of the things was that the school uniform in my primary school was very casual and it was very informal. But when I moved to SMSJ, the uniform was very formal and it was very nice, and I really loved the blazer.
When I joined SMSJ, one thing that I was really excited for was being able to keep my own schedule and doing all these cool grown-up things like going to class on my own and not having to line up and all that. And it went really smooth and I loved it.
I was really excited about the upcoming PGL trip because you get to go somewhere without your parents and you get to meet different people and have fun activities with them.
Before I started SMSJ, I was nervous for a few reasons. One of them was I thought I'd be late to classes. I thought I might go to maths when I needed to go to English, and I also thought that nobody will be my friend and I might be alone in the playground.
Before starting at SMSJ, I was really worried about not being able to make any friends, but it turned out really well and everyone was super duper nice and I made lots of friends.
I was pretty worried about getting lost because it was kind of new to me, and I thought that I'd be accidentally skipping classes, getting detentions on my first day.
I was really worried about not making many friends, but it turns out I made a lot of friends and they're actually all really nice.
At the start of the year at SMSJ, they didn't give out much homework so we could just settle in. Over time we got a bit more homework and we would usually get one piece of homework per subject a week.
At first, the amount of homework that I was getting seemed a little bit worrying, but then I realised it's not that bad. It only took about half an hour at most, and one piece of homework a day is not that bad, and in fact, it went pretty well.
At SMSJ, there are lots of extracurricular clubs that you can participate in. For example, football and basketball clubs are always happening. The ones that I participated in was getting elected to be a service ambassador, and I got to do jobs around the school. And as a service ambassador prefect, you get to wear a golden tie. The other clubs that I participated in were choir, and for choir we got to sing in front of a big audience. I've also done the boys dance company, which was a big festival, and we also performed in front of lots and lots of people. Lambda classes I'm doing. As I'm a drama scholar, I get to do Lambda classes where we do lots of drama. I'm also doing drum lessons. I never got to do drums when I was younger, and I really like drums, so now I've got the chance to do it. There's also Maths Club, which is UKMT, which I think is really fun and good to participate in if you want to get your maths really good. I used to do Bangwa dancing, and it was really, really fun because everybody was joined together.
I take part in trampolining club after school.
The new clubs I participated in were STEM, Politics Club and Cricket.
Well, if you're a Harry Potter fan, then you'd love SMSJ because we have our own Harry Potter club. We've made wands, eaten Hagrid's cake. It's amazing.
I did STEM club, DT architecture, which is another part of STEM club, and cricket.
I enjoyed PE the most because I get to run around and be active, which I really like, and it gets me out of the classroom.
So personally, I enjoy all the lessons in Year 7, not only because the lessons are interesting, but also because the teachers are so supportive and kind and will just push you to make sure that you're doing well. But I especially enjoy science because we get to take part in lots of experiments. I also enjoy PE, where we get to experience different sports such as netball, football, gymnastics, badminton, hockey and so much more. And finally, food and nutrition, where we learn to cook healthy, quick, simple meals, which I think is a really important life skill, and I think everyone should learn it.
My favourite lesson is history because I like learning about how the past influences the future.
My favourite subject at SMSJ was definitely science because of all the interesting things you could do. You'd have Bunsen burners and cool chemical reactions and all that great stuff.
My favourite lesson is PE because I like participating in various sports such as football, athletics and basketball.
I really like computer science because you learn about how computers work, and you also get to program in different languages, and you learn all sorts of languages as well.
My favourite lesson is maths, because I love working out the really hard questions and finding out the logic behind it all. There's also a lot to learn, so there's always something new to challenge me. I also love the teacher.
My favourite lesson is English because sometimes we get to do creative writing.
If you do really well in class, you can get an R1, then an R2, and at the top of the point system, you can get a message home to your parents of how well you're doing in class.
If you do really well in class, you get lots of reward points, which add up. For example, you can get an R1 and an R2, and so on and so on and so on. You can also get badges by getting loads and loads of signatures by your teachers for doing lots of good things around the school. You also get a message sent home if you've done something really, really good, and your teacher sends it to your parents. If you get lots of reward points, you can also participate in special events. For example, I got to participate in one special event where I got croissants and juice.
When you make a mistake in class, like you talk in class or you mess around, you get a warning first from your teacher. If you do it again, you get a C1. If you do it again, you get a C2, and it goes on like that. But the teachers are very kind and they don't give out many warnings or C1s.
If you make a mistake in class, you get consequence points which add up. For example, C1s and C2s and so on and so on. If you get 4 C1s in a week, then you get an hour's detention on Friday. And if you make a mistake in a lesson, for example getting something wrong, you won't get any consequence points because you're at least trying, and that's the best thing to do. And if anything, you'll get a reward point.
My top tip for you from the start of the year is to be friendly and try and make a lot of friends if you can, because they will help you throughout the year with homework, your bags, they just help you with your classes, and yeah, it's just all much easier.
Just relax. It's really fun, it's really friendly, and you're going to do really well.
My top tip is that you need to make sure that your uniform and PE kit are correct.
My tip for Year 6 students going on to Year 7 is to speak to your PAM teacher, head of year or service ambassadors if you have any fears and questions.
Have fun, make new friends, and just enjoy the time there.
I think my top tips for students starting in Year 7 are: number 1, make lots of friends, as they'll always be there throughout the years to support you. Number 2, always try to complete your homework on time and hand it in by the due date. And number 3, behave in class and listen to the teacher, as good behaviour will not go unnoticed.
My number 1 top tip for SMSJ is definitely to go make some friends, because seriously, it will help you out a lot. If you're struggling with your homework or you're just feeling a little down, you've always got someone at your side.
My top tip for starting at SMSJ would be to not get worried at all or nervous and just go for it, because everything turns out much better than you expect.